So anyway, there's been my last 2 weeks.
Okay. How's everybody else doing?
Hey,
Yeah. Happy birthday to me.
nothing to complain about in
God, buddy.
comparison.
Oh,
Sheesh. All right.
All right. Well, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of pre-show banter for this one to leave in. All talk of kidney stones and such, but
Yeah, I probably don't want to
Yeah, I don't wanna-
regale the
yeah.
audience with all your kidney
Well,
issues.
we're getting
I'm
we're
just-
getting
I'm
more
just gonna
subscribers.
I'm going to preface this episode with saying I could have had fucking 100 of the songs, right?
Joe's sick of he's sick of everything.
I just hope we do I hope we do some more segments of this because I'm excited.
Get off my lawn.
So
Yeah, that's fine. I have my top 5 and my one also ran.
Yeah, I didn't struggle with top 5. If it would have been 10, I probably still wouldn't have struggled. But I don't have a ton of them, to be honest with you, that I'm kind of tired of. But
Oh,
I'm not a crabby old man like Joe.
I got 100 of them.
Get off my lawn!
Yeah,
get out of my ears.
Just let me get passionate in this episode too, right?
Right, that's good.
All right, well that's good. Excellent.
Lead the charge.
So you
might inspire me to get angry. Let's see what happens.
All right, let's do it.
What's up, you metal maniacs, horror freaks? This is Deb from Lady Beast, and you're listening to Metal and Horror Podcast. Hope you enjoy it.
I am Montag, Master of Illusion. What goes up must come down, but not always.
Yeah, this is Chop Top, and this one needs to get overplayed.
And Dreadbull.
And you are watching and listening to Metal Horror. Oh, kiddies. Tonight, we are going to talk about the songs that have, for maybe no fault of their own, other than being popular, have been overplayed, perhaps, done to death on the radio. These are songs that perhaps we never need to hear again.
Worn out their welcome. Stayed a bit too long.
Yeah, that's it. Time for them to
welcome,
leave.
Matt. Yeah, we're ready.
Drank all our beers.
Yes, they're like the cousin Eddie of songs. Just best left in. Let him finish, Clark. These songs have dry humped our legs enough. We are saying enough is enough. So tonight we're doing our top 5 overplayed songs that we could go without ever hearing again. So let's go. Chop, you've been very chopping at the bits here. Let's start with you. Your number 5 pick. We'll work our way to number 1. Number 5 for you. What's number 5 on your list of top overrated or overplayed songs?
Number 5 for me is Whitesnake, Here I Go Again.
Oh.
Now I'm a huge Whitesnake fan. I make no bones about it. I love their stuff they came out with after Coverdale left Purple. Actually brought along, I think Ian Peace was part of that, and John Lord on keyboards for a while. So I like it. It was more bluesy and funkier until they got to slide it in, kind of define their style a little more. But there's a UK version, US version of that. And then, of course, the 87 album just took them to another level, right? And blew it right out of the water. But that song, between, MTV era, specifically heavy rotation, and even regular radio, they play the shit out of it. And it's just like, okay, and the weird thing about this, they covered their own song because the original is from the UK versions of Whitesnake. They did that with Crying in the Rain as well. There's 2 tracks that they actually recovered. And Fool for Your Lovin', 3.
It wasn't the original, lyric was like a hobo. I was born to walk alone. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, because I got the box set, little box of snakes with all those original albums, the pressings.
Here's my shocked face. What?
Like,
Chop Top has this unique multi-disc set? What?
Collector's curse, kids. It's real. But for me, it's like, it's just like when you can start to you hum a song and you're just like, it's not in a good way, that you're just like, fuck, I can't get that out of my head because it's overplayed so fucking much. This is one example of this. And for me, I mean, the videos, of course, we had, the kitten, Tawny Katane, back in her heyday, and she was spread all over the damn place. And so you remember that all over that car and everything. That was fantastic. But my God, I mean,
we were all in our teens.
I'm going to hit on this example a lot, guys, of bands who have a rich discography, but they focus on just that one album. It's modern rock radio, or it was MTV era. It's just like, come on, give a little more respect, a little more credibility to all this output that a band has done that we know and love. And this is one example of that. So yeah, Here I Go Again is my number 5.
Yeah, if my mom loves that song, if that says anything. So there you go.
Wow.
My mom loves Here I Go Again. Yeah, she's had me like download that for her before to put on her playlist. Absolutely loves it.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's cool. That's cool.
Right, but
it's
too popular.
I can't imagine your mom.
She loves that song.
Wow, it's like my dad in Looks at Kill.
Right,
I caught him
catching him watching
that video. Oh, hey, I like that song.
That's a good song.
Yeah, I'm like, I like that name, Motley Crue. Like, I know why you're watching that video, Dad. Yeah,
like that girl crawling across there.
That's right. That's right.
You know the scene.
That's right. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, guys, like I said, I'm gonna hit on that subject. It's just a sore spot for me. I just think there's so many bands out there that, in some regards, are even well deserving more than some of the on my list that have such a rich discography, and they just focus on those same tracks.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that, because that's I have that very note on a different band in on my list of where they're focused down on this tiny percentage of their music, their discography, and
I think that's a theme that we're gonna get a lot for all of our songs, actually.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, excellent job. Okay, Dread, number 5.
Okay, well, with number 5, we'll go with an obvious choice. Ozzy, Crazy Train. It's everywhere. You hear it everywhere. Every bar, every festival, every
football game. Yeah.
Yes. You know, it's gonna pop up at some
yeah.
You're gonna
that
hear
little
that.
Whatever that.
We gotta get you on karaoke now.
That percussive instrument that makes that vibrating sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. You're gonna hear it, and you can't avoid it. It's everywhere. And it's a decent song, and that's I don't know, that's going to be another theme. I think these are not great songs from any of these bands, most likely, that we're going to notice. These are
it's the commercial
ever
accessible,
the best. Yeah,
the accessibility.
And
that's why they're hits on radio.
That's why it sells to the masses.
Yeah, they're far better songs than Crazy Train. Not that it's a bad song, but Ozzy's got a lot of better songs that don't
on
get
that
the radio
album.
play. Yeah,
and we're metal fans, so let's face it, we don't like mainstream. We never have. That's not what metal fans are, and so when these make mainstream, our tendency is to not like them automatically, because when Metallica went mainstream, how many real metal, how many fans of Metallica fell off at that point?
Yeah, but how many more did they gain?
Exactly.
They sold out like millions.
They lost hardcore fans and got a bunch of pimple cream buyers, as Bruce would say.
Wow, who is the old man? Get off my pimple cream! Nice,
the famous pimple cream rant by Bruce.
That's right.
To sell more pimple cream.
Right.
That was actually one I had on my list, Dread, but that's okay. I can always insert 100 others. So.
I'm sure you got some bunch of honorable mentions.
That's good.
That's a great choice.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. With you. Okay, my number 5. It's from a band that we probably have heard once. This is "Stairway to Heaven" by Led Zeppelin. I know that the song has been banned in every respectable guitar center and musical store in the world.
Right.
As soon as you hear those first 3 notes, nope, no, stairway. Don't you fucking do it.
Store. Yeah.
Here's a band that has again a lot of songs. I had Led Zeppelin 4 like every other human being in the world at one time. And I liked that song. I've since just not a fan of the band. I just think they're one of those bands that get overrated. But this song, again, there's a majesty to the lyrics and stuff, and I, nothing against the song. It's just I've heard it. I've heard it now for 50 years. I've heard the damn song, and I can go on without it anymore.
Yeah, let it rest. Let it retire. Let it just go off and rest.
Yeah,
part of history. Let's
peace.
Right. Every generation is going to be
respected,
discovering bands, and that's great. I love when new generations discover bands. Like when we first came across bands that we discovered, like Maiden, or when I first got into Pink Floyd, or whatever band that we discovered and get into, that's great. And when a new generation discovers that, that's exciting. You want to encourage that. So I'll applaud all people who want to discover this what we consider classic rock. And hey, Zeppelin they were very popular and had this blues-based hard rock, and again, nothing against them, the success of that, but the one aberration about this song, it's like 8 minutes long and it still gets tons of airplay.
Yeah.
It's like the DJ goes, oh good, I can go take a shit now, and I can I can finally go off and like rest and have a smoke while this song's playing. Don't come back in 3 minutes.
Stairway to the break room.
Yeah. So yeah, there's my number 5, Stairway to Heaven.
Great choice.
Chop, number 4.
Number 4 for me. I'm gonna go with AC/DC. You Shook Me All Night Long.
Not Back in Black.
Know,
okay. Yeah.
I know it's one of the biggest selling hard rock albums of all time, worldwide. But it's just like, my God, there's so much other material that I think, especially in the Bon Scott era in the 70s, gets ignored a lot. I prefer a lot, actually, the older stuff than to Brian Johnson era. Now, I do believe Razor's Edge is a brilliant album, and Fly on the Wall is kind of underrated. I love Flick of the Switch, even For Those About to Rock. But they play the shit out of this. It's just like, again, another example, band with a huge discography. We're focusing on the biggest seller. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's at the same time, every time on radio, it's that same day. It airs all the time.
You'll hear that or Back in Black. Both great songs.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic album. One of the best albums, I think, as a whole. One of the best albums ever made.
One of the best produced albums ever.
Yeah, sure. It's great. And I liked hearing it in the Avengers movie, in Iron Man. Hearing Shoot to Thrill. It was really, it fits.
That was really cool.
It's that scene, it's nice.
Yeah.
But no, I totally get it. Again, another song that has a good video with it. But yes, it's like, I've heard it now. It's been over 40 years.
And it's probably never need to hear it again. It's one of those I can be fine, never to hear it again.
That's how they ruin a good thing, just do it over.
Too much of a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why we are here only every other week. We don't want to give you too much a good thing. We want you coming back. We love
It'll ruin it. Keep you wanting.
Yeah, we're not giving you everything. Come on, we're not whores.
Keep them hungry.
Well, we are, but we're more selective whores. So except for Chop,
we're higher priced.
He spreads his cheeks for anybody. He doesn't.
We pumped her.
That's right. He'll take the load. That's right. Okay. Speaking of loads, number 4, Dreadbull.
Oh, that was close. It was pretty close. That was almost a perfect segue.
Almost.
But my number 4 is falls squarely in the same category as my number 1. It's everywhere. You can't go to a sporting event without hearing it. What is it? Name it. Name it, guys. What's the other song besides Crazy Train that gets played at every freaking... Oh, that's a good one. You're probably right there. This is a Metallica song. We all know.
Okay. Enter Sandman.
Enter Sandman. It's everywhere. It's,
I agree.
And this was like, it's that same syndrome as Crazy Train. And you're right. Thunderstruck is another one that I hadn't thought about. But yeah, this is when Metallica went mainstream. Everybody likes it. Everybody likes this song. Everybody started to like Metallica, and then we're like,
it was
everybody likes it now.
The second group of people who like Metallica. I remember when One came out, because that was their first video, became really popular.
Yeah,
and I knew a lot of people in college who were suddenly Metallica fans. I'm like, they go, oh, because they knew I was a metal guy. And they said, oh yeah, I like Metallica too. I go, oh really? I go, what do you like? Oh, I like that one song. I go, okay, what else? That's all I know. But I'm a big fan. I'm like, okay. I get
that was still Metallica though.
That was still Metallica.
Somehow that was Metallica and still grabbed people's attention.
Right, because it was a video. I think that's what it was. And the video is so engaging. It's so nihilistic. It's so dark. And because the subject matter, and then bringing in the scenes from Johnny Got Us Gone. It's again fantastically done video, and it's a great song. You don't hear that as much on the radio as you would Enter Sandman. And spoiler alert, Enter Sandman's on my top 5. So yes, I totally agree with you there, Dread. It is,
and it's a good
everywhere.
song.
I almost added it's mine. I was really close because I'm like, yeah, I think somebody else is going to choose it.
It's a good song, but
yeah, that album lost it for me because they went from the pinnacle, I think, of their complexity. And I know this is an intentional thing, and it's taken a long time for them to rebuild. I mean, I think they've had some good music since, but I just don't care as much. I think
I haven't given them a serious listen in
decades.
Decades, maybe. Yeah.
This album, and then like Load and Reload. By Reload, I'm like, man, no. I'm like, nope.
Well,
I tried.
Metallica, I've seen them a couple times, and the thing is, fellas, and even watching their live stuff on YouTube or anything, they are definitely a live band. I mean, they thrive. They can play whatever. They can put a fucking jazz album out, and play it live, and they'd still sell out the stadiums.
Oh yeah, good for them.
Live, they are tremendous.
Yeah, they put on a good show. I've seen them a couple of times.
It's like it's that versus thing where you go that the artist that's on record or CD or anything like that to the live version, and they just take the live thing and they pull it off.
Yeah, they're a good band. And I never understood all the flack that came at Lars Ulrich for not being a good drummer. I think he's a good drummer. I think he serves the songs, the music. I mean, he plays some really fast double bass stuff. His music, and it's not really complicated fills that he does, but he's playing accordingly to what the song needs.
I think the criticism with Lars has come on, especially this recent album and maybe the one before as well. There's not a lot of fills. There's not a lot of triplet. There's just nothing going on toms. There's no tom work. It's just
his drum set's
gets
smaller than what it used to be. He's took out 2 of his toms, but generally his drum fills haven't been very, very prominent the last couple albums. But it could be just a musical style that they're doing. I mean, they just evolved as a band, and I can't fault them for that. I'm not going to fault them.
One example, simplistic drumming. I mean, most simplistic drumming probably in hard rock or metal is probably Phil Rudd from AC/DC.
I mean, a fucking wind-up monkey can play that. Let's just be fair. I mean,
I know, but he fits the pocket like
exactly. But because yes, that band is not a drum-driven band. That's a guitar-driven. It's a blues-based guitar-driven band. Right. And Metallica, most metal tends to have, there's a whole range of, the stuff from like the really fast, the death metal. We go from like the George Coleus, Nile, that kind of insane drumming.
God.
There's a lot of drummers like him who play these really insane, complicated rhythms that fit the music, fit the style. And Metallica is not like that. They're still a groove band, and nothing wrong with that. So again, I got no problem with it. I think Lars is a really good drummer. The band is competent, and the fact that they're still making music over 40 years later and it's still relevant and they're still selling out and they're doing well. It's like bands like Iron Maiden. Like these bands have proven themselves to be outstanding bands. But yes, this song, they have a giant catalog of songs. We can hear something else other than Enter fucking Sandman.
And honestly, I think, at certain events and stuff, I think the last few years, they've done a decent job. Like, I don't listen to the radio a whole lot. Satellite radio, Sirius XM and that maybe, but they've done a better job, I think, of playing more Metallica, more stuff, more of the older stuff that you never heard on regular radio back in the day. They never, like regular radio didn't play like stuff from Master of Puppets back when that was their album.
Yeah,
but now they will play it. Right, except for Z-Rock.
Z-Rock was a specialized, right, exactly. But you never hear it on MMS, any of that stuff, right?
No, but now they're I think more open to, since it's Metallica, that it's safe now to play whatever from those guys.
Yeah. I get it. All right. That was nice. Okay, my number 4 is a little ditty from the Eagles called Hotel California. While not a hard rock or metal band by any means, Eagles is more of a country style, but it is a song. Again, Eagles have a big catalog of music, and I had Eagles live, I think, just like everybody else did, with that and Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell, some of those seminal albums that I think everybody has at one time or another. This song always scared me as a kid. Even as a kid, like the lyrics are just weird and like dark. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here?
It's a scary song.
It is a scary song, but again, this is one of those songs where I'm like, okay, I've heard it enough. I'm tired of the song. I'm tired of the Eagles breaking up and getting back together and breaking up and getting back. Just pull the fucking plug. DNR on the Hotel California. And so yeah, I'm done with Hotel California. I could hear a lot of other Eagles songs. Just stop it already. Stop it.
Yes.
Don Henley, stop singing this song.
Put it in a time capsule, wait 25 years or more, and then bring it back out.
Couple centuries.
As long as we do centuries.
Let us pass.
I see. Get rid of
Duck Dodgers in the
that's alive
25th,
now.
third and a half century.
That's not a bad idea.
Star Trek, that'll make a whole episode. They find a time capsule buried by us. Here's all the songs we don't ever want to hear again, and it'll start a whole new flock of Eagles fans in the year 2275.
Yeah, let's package up like 100 songs.
Right. These are songs we hear. Good luck with
They're
these.
banned now.
That's right.
From now on for 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's like when Disney puts a movie in the vault.
Yeah.
Like we're never going to release Beauty and the Beast again, except for the live action and in this version and that version.
Yeah.
But not the classic that you know. Right.
I like this idea. So then in 2112, some guy's going to dig it up.
Right.
And be like, ooh, what is this?
Yeah.
We'll some little monk guy in a old broken down temple is going to be like, what is this? What is this sound?
Yeah. And we'll put in a little dancing frog in there.
Oh, okay. I was going 2112.
No, I know. I'm mixing it all. It's in all the time capsule.
Hello, my honey.
That's right. It's all in there, man. The heavy metal horror time capsule. Do be opened in 2112. Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes. In 89 years from now.
Let's pitch this to Mark later for their next concept album.
Yeah.
Do that.
Okay, guys. Now you've done enough with the Hallowed, but have you heard about the time capsule?
The time capsule.
Listen to our idea, okay?
That's right.
We know how to put the direction to the next album. All right?
We can write your lyrics for you.
Heavy metal horror, that need to be put away.
Ass. Yeah, that'd be awesome. We'll definitely talk with them. Yeah, no, we're excited because Jag Panzer's coming on, so we're pretty excited about that. So, okay, we're down to number 3. Whew, number 3. Chop Top, what is your number 3 song that you really never have to hear again?
My number 3 is a classic rock song that I'm a very big fan of this band. They're in my top 5 probably all time, and that's Deep Purple's "Smoke in the Water."
Mm.
The riff is iconic. We get it. Any beginner guitar player can learn that. Whatever, but and of course it's famously wrote about the horrendous fire at Casino in Montreux when they did the Montreux Festival. But it's just so it becomes stale after a while. It's like it's exciting especially when you're first starting to play guitar and you're learning something and a riff like, oh, I actually do this, right? But when you hear it on the radio all the time, it's like this is a band with a huge discography as well, and we're going back to this one track, and it's like
off of a good album. Machine Head's a good album, but yes,
Machine Head's a great album, yeah. And it's just it goes back to that whole what we talked about earlier. Bands with a rich discography, and we're just getting that one track because hey, there it is. It's catchy, it's got a catchy hook. It's got a catchy chorus. It's got the riff is iconic. But there's so much more this band has that I appreciate personally and I love. That's just like, okay, I never need to really hear that song again. So yeah, "Smoke in the Water."
Excellent. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Totally agree.
I like Deep Purple. I like all the different stages, all the different Mox versions of it.
Right.
I like the Ian Gillan, great song, great singer. I grew up with "Smoke on the Water." My mom had the 45.
Oh wow!
And so
okay.
I listened to it as a kid, loved it because on one side there's that, and the other side I think was the Pusher. I think that was it. Or no, a Magic Carpet Ride maybe. I don't know. But I remember that even as a kid. No, studio side and then live. That's right, 2 sides.
Okay.
East side was a live version of it. So yes, but I totally agree. Infectious Groove, you always learn how to play that. When you're learning how to play guitar, it's one of the things you can learn how to play. But yes, it's we've heard it. We know the song. Move on. Choose something else. randomly pick another song from any of their albums, you'll probably find something that's decent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Into the Vault with that one. I can't
Yeah.
remember the last time I listened to that song to its conclusion.
Yeah.
I'll change the station. Like
we don't need to.
I can't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've had it. All right, Dread, your number 3.
Okay. Yeah, I think we'll all agree with this one. Run to the Hills needs to run to the retirement home. Done. It's run its course. We can't have it anymore.
To the home.
I mean, I know they feel this pressure to play their hits, and they can maybe get away with Trooper, 2 Minutes to Midnight, some of those, but Run to the Hills, it's a pretty simple song. It's got a nice beat, like Clive Burr did a nice job. It's got a cool drum beat to it, but after thousands of listens, you can't handle it. And maybe if Bruce could hit the notes that he did back then live, and that was an opportunity for him to hit some of those air raid siren Bruce, notes, that would be cool. You could still use this song in a live setting, but you can't do that anymore. So you're left with just a basic song with a basic beat, and it's okay. But you're Iron Maiden. I think you can get away with playing something else in its place live. I think people will be okay with that.
Well, they really have. The last couple tours, they booted it out of the set list.
They've finally done it?
On the last tour, because it was the big Senjutsu
Okay, I take
tour.
that back now.
They hadn't. I don't think they played it. And then this current tour, it's Senjutsu and then Somewhere in Time. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Those two albums. So
Finally.
they've kind of cut away from that, which is I'm glad. I think the fans are glad too. It's like it's like there are a couple Maiden songs that, as good as they are, we've just talked about this when Justin was on, when we did our Slugfest.
Right.
Like Hallowed Be Thy Name, great song. I've heard it every time I've seen Maiden. Just like Run to the Hills, I've heard this, guys. It's like we don't need to hear it. Longtime fans, but I get it too. They know people want to hear it, but I think they for a long time felt a little too conservative, especially in the States. You always hear these like great shows they play over in Europe. I'm like, why are we not getting this? I want to hear Murders in the Rue Morgue. Come on, that would be an awesome song to hear live. For years they wouldn't even play Where Eagles Dare here. So now they finally brought that back on this Legacy of the Beast, tour kind of thing. So, but I think they're playing around with some of these songs, and I think they're slowly feeling their impending run coming to an end. Like, not anytime soon, but they're like realizing, hey, our time's limited.
Interesting you say that, Run to the Hills, because I would have thought, maybe Number of the Beast, but I could tolerate Number of the Beast live hearing over and Run to the Hills again. Yeah. That's a weird thing, Both
it's
off
a more
the same album, but it's like, it's weird that I could actually be like, hey, I'm cool with Number of the Beast still played live.
It's a more substantive song, Run to the Hills is just, it's basic. It's one of their
basic. There's more to it, more to Number of the Beast. More time changes is more interesting. And exactly. It's a good ripper. Like the Trooper is right up there with me. As much as I like the Trooper, I could go without hearing it live. Only because I've heard it so many times. I'd rather hear like the tour they're on now. Wow, they're Alexander the Great. That's fantastic. They've never played that before. Wonderful. Right? Let's hear those things. That's the kind of stuff that would be nice to hear. Like when they played Somewhere in, or Where Eagles Dare on the big big Eddie Hits tour or whatever it was called. That was nice that they brought that out. So hearing these songs that they don't normally play, like, okay, and that's gonna feel great for the band too. It's like, man, we can play something that's gonna feel a little fresh, because you realize they're gonna have to play this set about 100 times on tour.
Right.
They gotta make it. They gotta do something that.
You'd think they would do it for their own sanity. Mix it up a little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit. Or at least have a couple different varying sets. Like have a set and then maybe 2 or 3 songs they swap out. And I know Rush does that because they Rush also plays a 2.5 hour show, so they have more time.
Yeah.
They can plug more things in there. But I know they did that on the last couple tours. They had a couple songs that they could swap out for themselves, just to do for themselves. But then they put those live versions on the CD or the DVD that came out. there was always like
Montag, when we saw him with Test for Echo tour and they played Chemistry, it's like, oh
yeah,
what? Wow, this is great.
Exactly, right, stuff like that. Like it was really nice, and so no, I totally get it. Yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there with you.
Great choice, Dreadbull.
Yeah. All right, my number 3 track. This is from a band that doesn't have the deep discography that the other bands have, but this was a song. This was an album that really took them into the stratosphere. I'm thinking circa, what was it, 1987, 88.
Oh, I
You
know
heard
exactly
this
who you're talking about.
every the guys
Every
on
graduation
the floor.
party I went to.
Yeah,
played
this
album.
Pour Some Sugar on Me. Def
Oh
Leppard.
no, this is not who I was thinking of.
You stole mine. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I figured we're gonna have overlap.
Okay, there's another band that falls right into that time frame as well.
Yeah.
Played to death.
This was
Oh,
I lived on the
yes. Oh, my
floor when I was in
God.
college. I lived with
I
the
forgot
hockey
about
players. There was the athletes and there was the people who were there on scholarship who were there on what were they called, the advanced scholar, I forget what they were, the oral scholarship.
Yeah.
So every Friday the hockey players would get themselves psyched up to play by playing Pour Some Sugar on Me. And everybody loved that song.
Seems like a really
and I'm like, I like the
poor
song
choice.
too. It's a good song. It's very popular, very catchy. But Def Leppard's never been Def Leppard is a pop hard rock band. They are poppy. They cross over, and it's a very radio friendly kind of band. And
more about that track later, but go ahead.
Because because I know Dreadbull had Pyromania, which again, it's a great album.
Mm-hmm.
But this album,
a little less poppy, less
poppy. This album is way more poppy,
big time.
And this song and the Animals, and then like this one just like took them off to the stratosphere, just like the Black Album from Metallica. It was a lot more accessible, radio friendly, and so this song I have heard for 35 years or so, and it just I'm tired of it. I like to find, yes, I get the innuendo. It's very clever. Yes, you've got the peaches, I've got the cream. Very nice. You're right up there with like, you pulled the trigger on my love gun. I get it.
Yeah.
Wordsmiths. Even Paul, yeah, exactly.
Neil Peart, eat your heart out.
Paul Stanley's even tired of Kiss at this point, It's like, Jesus, Gene, I gotta sing this fucking shit.
Yeah, just have Gene come out and do Wish Upon a Star, right?
I wish Montag would show up and slap his belly in front of you, Gene. Pour Some Sugar on Me. And then nothing against Def Leppard. I don't know if I'd really want to see him in concert. I remember when Vivian Campbell joined him, I was like, Vivian Campbell, he was playing for Dio. And he was playing for Dio in the height of Dio, this 86, 87, this popularity. I'm like, my God, why would you go? It's like
watered down his guitar work, man. He got a master
because Def Leppard is going to make him a shit ton more money than playing for Dio.
Absolutely.
They're playing out giant arenas. He's getting laid 50 times more than he was going to probably with Dio. Because chicks are going to see Def Leppard.
Yeah.
That's it. And so he's going to get laid every night. And he's going to get 5 times, 10 times the money. I'm like, all right. I get it. I totally get it. But
artistic integrity though, Vivian. So
I was disappointed, but he seems happy and rich,
That's what I wish you the best.
So there's number 3.
That's a good one
on me.
Yeah.
Wait,
I forgot all about those guys.
Honestly. But I know where you're going, Dreadbull. I know where you're going. Where you're going. Okay, number 2. We are fast. Number 2. All right, Chop. Number 2, Overplayed Song.
Number 2. I'm cheating a little bit, guys. I'm doing a trifecta here. I'm going with a band that in 86, 87, it was very important to the scene, I think, of rock and roll in general. They had the old Aerosmith sleaze and sensibilities.
Scapegoat Pigs?
Brought it into brought it into a new, in our generation. And we appreciate it. When it came out of scene, it just hit and it blew up. And I'm talking about Guns N' Roses of the Appetite for Destruction album. And the 3 songs that I never need to hear again in my fucking life.
I have 2 of those on my list.
Welcome to the Jungle, Paradise City, and Sweet Child of Fucking Mine. I never need to fucking hear those songs. I guess, because we talk about, and I'm going to appreciative fan of the deeper cuts on that album. Actually,
Yeah.
I think Rocket Queen is
Night
epic.
Train.
Night
Rocket
Train,
Queen
I
is
love Night Train,
fantastic
right?
song. Yeah.
It's So Easy by Michelle. I mean, so many. And here's a thing I have a little gripe that I'm going to go into about a band that is basically had one album as a mega seller. They survived their whole career on one fucking album.
Yeah.
Because Use Your Illusion in 1 and 2 had a lot of filler.
They can condense those down. Dread and I have talked about this. You could condense those 2 albums down into one really good album.
And it could stand up to Appetite, very close anyway.
I think close. The mix is not so good. It sounds way more commercial. It's a little thin. It's not good. The Spaghetti Incident is garbage. Same thing with the China Syndrome or whatever it was. I forget what it's called.
None of those count.
And then there was the EP, which had I used to love her, but I had to kill her or whatever. Yeah,
like Patience. I think.
Yeah, it's just garbage. Just not good stuff. one good album. And a couple of mediocre albums, and 35 years later, they're still playing. I mean, they're back now, and they're back.
Appetite for Destruction came out of nowhere, and it was
huge,
fully formed, like it was an adult baby being born. Like this, it just came out. Like, where did they come from? Like, you didn't see them like come up and slowly, develop a sound and come into their own at some eventually.
Nope. It was like, here it is.
Showed up and like, wow, it blew everybody away.
Yeah.
Well, what it did, it gave a shot in the arm at the hair metal and the hard rock genre at the time, because you miss that old sound. Like, I love old Aerosmith, and that's what it reminded me of. They had that sleaze, they had that grit.
Without being a ripoff at all,
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's what I admired about it. But my God,
I think Sweet Child of Mine was, because I still hear like younger kids play that on guitar. Like, they have like post a video of themselves, and as soon as they start hear that first button, I clap, nope, and I swipe it. Like, no, I'm tired of hearing that riff, and it's got that nice beginning. It's almost like romantic, and it's so pretty. And then there's a really good musical. The solos are really good, toward the end. So it's not a bad song. It's just there are other songs that would be just as good if people hear them. But this song, I totally agree. Sweet Child of Mine is definitely one that I really could never hear ever fucking again. Yeah.
You spoiled my number one. So mine had both Sweet Child of Mine and Paradise City.
And that's my number one too. Sweet Child of Mine.
Great.
I'm like,
I went
Guns N'
with
Roses.
Paradise City because it's a longer song. It just takes longer to get it over with. Like, because they got that big extended section.
That's Guns N' Roses version of Freebird.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I can handle Welcome to the Jungle still. For whatever reason, that one hasn't rubbed me raw the way the other two have.
Yeah.
But all three are definitely worthy of going into the vault.
But it's okay. No,
that's funny. That's funny. We all had that one. I mean, I thought for sure we would overlap on that. I didn't know it was gonna be our number ones.
Well, the hardest thing is because I'm a deep cuts kind of guy on a lot of albums. You hear the one things you're familiar with, the video or whatever the media is, the format. But I really like exploring more in depth on an album. And some of those, other tracks are like, why wasn't Rocket Queen released as a fucking single? Why?
Because of the moaning, because of the porn.
The best songs on the album,
right.
Because that's right. Because of the whole like moaning sound. They could take it out.
Yeah, oh man, God forbid.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why. But no,
and it was the '80s, so
right.
MRC was at the height of their power, and everybody was up in arms about music and music videos.
Great point.
So there was a lot of pushback.
That was it.
So that was actually pretty scandalous.
Tipper Gore, while her husband was inventing the internet, Tipper was out.
Right, exactly.
Tipper was out censoring.
They were both
saving
doing
us from
God's
ourselves.
work,
That's right. Saving us from ourselves by slapping a sticker. Although anytime a sticker was on an album, it's going to sell double what it would without it.
That was so funny.
I mean, the bands are going, well, sure, go ahead and try to censor me. That's the best way to make me sell more money.
An explicit sticker on the front of the album.
Of course. Up like oh, great, it's explicit.
Yeah, every teenage boy
I used to stick those
like,
on fucking Dr. Seuss albums to make it sell more. Explicit rhymes, motherfucker. Nice. Good selection there, Chop, with your trifecta.
Yeah. Very nice.
Okay, number 2, Dread.
Okay, 2 for me. This is This is where I ran into the issue, Chop, of why do they focus on so few songs from this band that has an enormous library to choose from. Judas Priest. I could choose a lot of, not a lot because they didn't, but a handful of songs. I chose Breaking the Law.
Mm-hmm.
One, because that song never really did much for me anyway, and it
I
just
thought about that
played
one
to
myself.
death.
So yeah,
Heading out to the highway,
Breaking the Law. Yeah, heading out to the highway.
Yeah.
Hellbent, whatever. They pick some of their weaker songs to just fixate on and play over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And Breaking the Law is just
it's a lot more accessible than Painkiller, for sure.
True.
I mean, Painkiller is an infinitely better song and album.
Yeah.
But it's because it's an entrance level Judas Priest, or even like
it is
Free Will Burning. Free Will Burning so fast.
Yeah.
People are like, "What's he saying?" I can't understand a word that he's saying. Like,
you can even bring the argument, Dread, that Living After Midnight would be right in that same breath as Breaking the Law.
That's another
it's
one.
It's that same era of Priest is where all the attention got brought.
Yeah, British Steel. That
British Steel was a very radio.
Yeah, very radio friendly.
And kind of a boring album all in all. I liked it at the time, but yeah, over time they've done so much better stuff.
Yes,
but radio never moved on from from that album.
Yeah, because there are people who don't move on. Like there are people who will go see a Guns N' Roses cover band because they want to. Here we are, 1987 still. They don't want to explore new music. It's like, yeah, I get it. I don't want to
go see Motley Crue and with Vince Neil.
Yes.
12 months pregnant, and he sounds like Bob Dylan on Helium.
Yeah,
I can't understand a word he says.
It is horrible. It is horrible.
I'm completely inarticulate.
Yeah. I can't believe.
Like,
I can't believe he goes on like that. I don't know. It's insulting.
Horrible.
I think. And
like you're embarrassing yourself.
And you're paying a lot of money to see these bands.
Judge people that go
like
see
them and Def Leppard are playing, and I think Def Leppard's playing "Pour Some Sugar on Me" for like an hour and a half. Essentially, they're just playing that song 15 times because it's the same. Sounds like everything else.
Get flashed by some 50-year-old.
Get to that song.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. Put the mammies away.
Anyway,
yeah. Nice.
Far be it for me to fat shame, but my God, you're the front man for a hair metal band that was the shit back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Come on.
Success.
Take care of yourself. At least be able to sing.
Be able to sing.
I don't care if you put on some weight, but you got to be able to sing.
Be able to sing. That's the thing. I understand as you age, your voice changes. It's understandable.
Yeah, I get all that.
And right, and we can accept all that. We can be very accepting of that. You can't hit certain notes. That's fine. But when you can't, when you're not articulating at all, that's
you can't understand a word he says.
Yeah, it's just horrible. It's embarrassing.
It is.
So stop it, Vince.
It's a meme,
just stop it.
It's a meme at this point.
It was a great choice, though, Dragon.
My number two, we've discussed Enter Sandman. That was my number two. We've talked about that. There are so many other songs from Metallica that I could hear. And I even I like some of their new stuff. I liked some stuff off the Death Magnetic. Death Magnetic was the freshest album they had done in decades.
Yeah.
It was like finally we're getting back to what Metallica used to sound like. Too bad I just don't care anymore.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Like their new album came out recently. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize they had an album coming out. I've completely lost any kind of desire to follow Metallica or listen
it's like, no, I don't care. I'll listen. I mean, I've heard the track now. It's like, okay, there it is. I had Saint Anger. I listened to it. I thought that was a really uniquely boring album. A couple of the tracks are good. It's just every song sounds the same, and it's like all the songs are like 8 minutes long. It's like no variety. It's like it just lost me. And I've changed. I've grown. I want something different. I was going off into things like Opeth and Ginger and Shaolin Death Squad and other kind of music that I want. What's more exciting to me. So I get it. So my number two, we've already done that, and I know we've already talked about our number one, Dread. So now we're down to Chop. Chop, your number one. Hit us with it, man.
One of the most hated songs I've always fucking hated. Pour some fucking napalm on me, please. No, pour some fucking sugar. I mean, the lyrics are fucking ridiculous. It's a stupid fucking. It's just like, okay, here's my gripe with Def Leppard. Rick Allen, unfortunately, we all know, lost his arm in a tragic car accident, and God bless him. They changed a drum kit around that he could continue to play this foot pedal. I that's fine. But after that, it changed their whole sound of that band. They never recovered. The first 3 albums are classic examples of new wave of British heavy metal because they came over on that whole thing. And I think that's where it stopped with me. I did purchase it on cassette back in the day, and because I liked Women and I liked Gods of War on that album. The rest was just sappy, fucking poppy. Love Me Like a Bomb, Baby, Come and Get It On. Like, get the fuck out of here. So I can't fucking stand it. It's a piece of shit. I'm sorry. So I get it. Chicks dig it. Whatever.
Next week
I don't have a pussy, so I don't give a shit.
So actually, Def Leppard's coming on next week for an interview. So hey, we can tell them all about it.
You tell them,
listen, guys,
exactly
stay away with that fucking shit song.
Yeah. And Vivian Campbell, you should have stayed in your own fucking
Shame
style
on you, Vivian Campbell, for leaving
Hold
Dio.
out, motherfucker. No, we'd love to have you on the show though. But guys, I'm sorry. I'm very passionate. That song just rubs me the wrong way, irritates me. That whole
really
fucking
grates your
album
cheese, doesn't it?
It does.
It grinds
You
my
know what
gears.
grinds
Peter
my
Griffin.
gears? Yeah. But it does, guys. I make no apologies to, because I really was expecting more when that first came out. I'm like, oh, Def Leppard, new release, great, because I love Pyromania. I love the stuff beforehand.
Yeah, High and Dry is good.
And
Pyromania is
that hit,
great.
and I was just like, and I go, what? Love Bites Animal Armageddon it? Well, obviously, he didn't get it. Armageddon it anyways. So,
it became arena
fuck,
rock.
man.
At that point, it became arena rock.
Poison was popular,
Yeah.
Poison was huge. The hair
Well,
band.
and I think it was
Yeah.
because of
Steering
the
back in
tragic
that-
accident and such a big seller. It was piggybacking off of Pyromania. And because of that tragic accident, people were like, oh, we're supporting
No, there's
it.
the
We're
song.
going
I mean,
after
that video came out, and it was the video that propelled them, because their first single was Animals, and it didn't do as well. I think. But then when Pour Some Sugar on Me came out,
No, Women was actually the first
Was it
single.
okay.
Released.
Well, that one didn't do as well, but this song came out, and it was everywhere. You couldn't go 5 minutes on MTV without it being played. It was just everywhere. And when people who normally wouldn't listen to harder rock were accessing it, like Enter Sandman.
No, I know Mutt Lang did the production.
Yeah, I mean, the album. I mean, the mix is. It was a very
big
commercial.
producer as far as
He's a huge producer. He knows how to make an album sound great for radio, because it's not so heavy. That's why AC/DC is popular, even with people who don't like metal. AC/DC is accessible. It's hard rock, but it's not so heavy that it's going to be turn off, because you can go to any graduation party and hear AC/DC being played, and everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, I love this.
Yeah.
I love this rock and roll.
Right.
Yeah.
But that is my number one. I stick by it. It's a piece of shit. Of course,
I appreciate your passion.
Yeah. Thank
you. Thank you.
I'm glad we had these overlaps, because
it is fun. It is fun.
We're in the we got
curious
the zeitgeist. We're
what you guys
sharing
are
it.
thinking too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like struggling. Like, do I want to Enter Sandman? I really hate. Pour Some Sugar on Me. I really hate Sweet Child of Mine. No, that one I loathe. That's a detest song. Well, okay. Well, then we did our top 5. Now, did you have? I know, Chop. I know you can have 100 of these, but let's maybe talk about 1 or 2 of our also rans. Did you have? Give us an also ran. Dreadbull. Did you have an also ran?
Yes.
Or 2?
Kiss. Anything. Any of them.
Quite a bit. How much time do you
Sick
fucking
all
boys
of them.
got? Well,
You don't listen to Kiss, so how can you have had Overplayed?
Oh, it got played on the radio enough. I heard enough of it.
Well,
When you don't like it in the beginning, to begin with, it just
they still play Rock and Roll All Night. That's like the one song you hear
that was
a lot.
the one
And
on my list.
you hear that. You also hear quite a bit. You will
Detroit
hear
Rock
Rock City or Love Gun, and then you'll also hear a lot of I Was Made for Love.
Lick It Up.
Lick It Up. Yeah, see? Yeah, now that was in the era of Kiss where they were out of their makeup, the Lick It Up era. Although that album's a
Out
good
in
album.
whatever.
But they had a string of really bad disco albums, starting with Dynasty in 1979. There's a couple 3 albums, Dynasty and Unmasked and something else. But then they had a lot of shitty albums in the 80s, like Animalize and a couple other ones
Ooh.
were just really shitty. I remember Chop Top. I was over at his house and we were watching the Animal Eyes live on MTV.
Oh,
I had a
we laughed
video
so
of
hard.
just laughing really hard because they look ridiculous. Like they were just out of makeup. They looked uncomfortable in their own skin, animal furs, and like I'm like, what the fuck is this all about? And they're all playing way too fast, and it just felt wrong. They didn't get their next. They didn't have a good album after that in the '80s until Lick It Up was a good album, but Revenge was the next good album they had. That was what 1991, 90. That's actually a really good album.
Really good album.
Hot in the Shade had a couple good tracks on it, but by then they were doing CDs. They're doing like an hour of music when they should have done. But back in the day, when they were doing 35 minutes, like okay, enough.
Yeah, the problem with the '80s Kiss was there's so much Montag. You heard so much filler on a lot of those albums.
Yeah, and especially as it went, like Torpedo Girl and Shandy.
I just heard Rise to It on Sirius XM because I got a free trial. I'm just like,
they had gone full blown disco.
I love that song.
Yeah, they completely left their hard rock roots. Like those first 3 albums are really good. I mean, heavy rock, like seriously heavy good albums. If you were to give them an honest listen to Dreadbull, you might find a couple really good tracks there. Like, Parasite is a really great song. But like I said, Lick 'Em Up is good, but I think also what's the Creatures of the Night actually on 1982
that's a great album.
That's a really good album.
Yeah.
But am I gonna pick on you about though?
Most of the '80s is just shit, and then the albums they've done since then, they've had a couple. I mean, Psycho Circus had a couple good songs. That was a pretty fun show. Chop and I saw because they were in the 3D glasses. You could see the big screens with like Gene's tongue coming on.
Pick at you. It's like,
And then they had Monster. No, what was the one before that?
Sonic Boom.
Yeah, which was not a good album. Not a good album. Monster has a couple of good tracks, like Hell or Hallelujah sounds like classic Kiss.
It does.
The rest of it just they've changed. They just lost something. But it's okay. Bands change and grow. But
would you not agree that Paul Stanley is probably the most boring singer in all of heavy metal?
No, I think he's one of the greatest. Well, he was on my frontman. He was on my top 5 frontmen.
Dude, he's so boring. His singing style is so bland. It's bland.
Well,
what's bland about it?
He's got no range. He's got no real passion behind his.
He used to have
well, I think if you watch early Kiss again, you got to go back to the early.
Other than the Folgers commercial, I really appreciate that. I'm a Folgers guy myself, so I really appreciate that.
We go back to those early days, but Kiss was never about the vocal range. It was all about the presence. It was about putting on a show. It was a showmanship. It was a spectacle. So his range is not
substance.
His range is not crazy great. Same thing with Gene Simmons, and they will be the first ones to admit that there are bands who will run circles around them musically. And Gene Simmons has always said they are the greasy cheeseburger of rock and roll, and they're fine with that. But
no, I get it, and that's what they're all about. And
so they're not. It's about what you're seeing, and it's about doing something, and that you never would have seen otherwise. So no, I totally get that. I totally get that. I just think though, as a front man, as someone who engages with the audience, he's a fantastic leader in that regard. But now, I mean, they're singing with backup tracks, and he's doing a lot of
and to be fair, I get why they were so popular. I get the spectacle of Kiss.
It was huge. It was
they were
big.
Doing totally. I get it.
Yeah. No,
we got to start.
But I can't change my opinion because
the beginning of shock rock. Cooper started.
Alice Cooper was
You Kiss.
Then you had the New York Dolls. Were big,
and they were masters of promotion. PR.
Yeah, exactly.
About all kinds of products.
Put out their own toys.
This is a business. Yeah, that's a business entity.
I remember all your Kiss cards when we were young.
I love the Kiss cards. Yeah, I wanted to be Gene Simmons, man. That's why I wrote the song for the Pigs. I wanted to be just like Gene Simmons.
You had your tongue out like half of our lives growing up.
That's right.
Hey, Montag, I had Kiss lunchbox in elementary school.
I had the Kiss radio.
Yeah, right. Everybody had some kind of Kiss paraphernalia.
I totally get it. I totally get it, man. It's right. Every time something would blow up, Kiss.
Exactly.
Right.
Lighting fireworks off on the 4th of July. Mark's over there. Kiss.
Exactly. I still do that. I'm still doing it, man.
Oh, I still laugh at that story.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Bottle rocket goes off. Cheers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Good talk.
All right. Well, here's my first also ran. This is a song that I asked specifically not to be played at my wedding, but when the guy did it, I ran to him and said, "I told you not to play this fucking song. Now take it off."
Okay.
This is sung by Bob Seger called "Old Time Rock and Roll."
Oh,
My God, you're right. Of the
I-
Bob Seger beautiful catalog of great music.
Yeah, Against the Wind, all kinds of good songs, but this song, because it brings out my aunts who love the song,
Exactly.
because they're going old time rock and roll. Let's go.
take your roll records off the shelf.
Yeah, and it's like you can almost hear Paul Stanley. All right, we got some good looking ants out there
Listen to roll for some old time rock and roll.
for these old time women in here. Yeah, exactly. I remember back in the day when you were young. And I bet you all are grandmas.
Get you up.
I know what I need to get me up.
Rock and roll.
I need myself some erectile dysfunction medicine. Because I'm 70 and I can't get it up. At least not for some of you grandmas out there. Let me see some gilfs. Oh, yeah.
You don't know what the best part of waking up is?
I can put my dick in your cup. Yeah. That's it. That's it. That's it. Paul Stanley
out here tonight.
We got some good looking gilfs. Some of you girls want to get yourselves a walker and meet me up here. Gonna meet it back. What's the ED medicine? What's the big one? What's it called? The fuck. What's the pill? What's the mail? What's the? Yeah, that's it. Got a little song about something that gets you up. Give me some fire. Exactly. So I get up for the next 2 to 3 hours. But if it's any longer, I'm gonna call the doctor because I got something called priapism. And I got a balloon that needs to be deflated. Someone's gonna get me down.
We're gonna play Heavens on Fire because I need somebody to blow out the candles on my birthday.
Because I need to get that blood back in my brain. And my penis is tired. I ain't got no time to pitch a tent. I just want to get some sleep. Because I'm 70 fucking years old. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we could. Me and Montag could rant forever with Paul, man.
Yes, and this is the clip that's going to make us viral.
That's right.
We're going to get a call from Gene Simmons. Hey,
come on, we need 1,000 subscribers. We need that.
I don't think it's fun. I don't think it's good that you make fun of us. And
that's a
come on the show. Remember this, Gene? Remember this, you fucking bastard?
Yeah.
I
really don't.
There it is.
That
That's my first also ran. Whew. Okay, Chop. You're also ran number 2. We'll do this one more. We'll finish up with one more also ran. You got another one?
Okay. Yeah. Pink Floyd, Comfortably Numb.
Okay.
As I love David Gilmour's solo in it.
Yeah.
I just like his style of play anyways.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. All his solos basically it's just different. He does so much bending and stuff, but what he can do with those bends, and I've read so much in interviews with him, it's not the number of notes you can play. It's what you do with even the single notes and other stuff like that. And boy, he just has that tone too. That's unmistakable with Gilmour. So I love it. But this song, it's like, my God, here's another example of a band with rich catalog. And there you go. That's it.
Let's hear something from metal.
If it's not that, it's another brick in the fucking wall. Those are
Right.
the two most overplayed
Right.
songs. And it's like,
All the
and I can put
songs
time,
are from
time
The
and
Wall.
money in there too, I guess.
Yeah, you'll
As
hear
far as-
that. Yeah, there's 2 albums that they play from. That's about it. Yeah, you'll hear that. Yeah, I mean, you don't play stuff from the Sid Barrett years because it was so weird.
It was.
Metal's a good
Psychedelic,
album. You don't hear really
Psychedelic.
much from Animals because all those songs are like 14 minutes long. You know,
Right. I love
And-
Animals though. That might be my favorite
Animals
Pink
is a
Floyd
fantastic album. Great album.
Yes.
But yeah, I think also I remember Dredd and I watching the movie of The Wall. You know, we were watching just how trippy and freaky it is. You know, some of the animated stuff was so weird.
Is, man.
And it's such a dark movie. You know, dark album. You know, but
there's a lot of dark subject matter on that.
Yeah, and that's David Gilmour, or that's Roger
trauma
Waters. You know, just you know.
Yeah.
And by the time the final cut came out, I'm like, I get it. I get it, Roger Waters. Okay, I understand. Your dad died, but you gotta fucking like process this and stop making records about it. You're goddamn depressing all of your
It was depressing stuff.
Yeah, that's a fucking depressing album.
It was really dark.
You know, it's like Jesus Christ, man. You know, yeah. Okay, very nice. Dreadbull, you have another last also ran?
I already did Kiss.
Oh, all the Kiss. That's it. Okay.
All the Kiss.
All the Kiss. All the Kiss.
All of it.
That's my next 60 also rans. All the Kiss. And one also this
I'd like to thank Dreadbull in the crowd tonight.
That's right. I'll play all his favorites.
Who hates everything we've ever done?
We're gonna meet him backstage for some good looking gifts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's comical.
My last also ran for this episode. It's from my favorite band. But it again, this is a band that has an incredible discography, and we hear 3 songs or so from them. Closer to the Heart. I could go never hear that song again. I mean, it's only because I have heard it so many times on the radio, and every time I'm like, why the fuck have you not picked? You know, hey, let's hear. Oh, I don't know. Lakeside Park, or hey, anything else other than Tom Sawyer or YYZ. They only play that
Radio.
Spirit of Radio, or Limelight.
Yeah.
Yes, Moving Pictures is one of the best albums ever made. I'm not putting that down at all. I understand, and this is my favorite band. But radio has killed my love for the song, which is a beautiful song. Yeah. Neil Peart is a poet. He is. He
really is.
That's his.
Beautiful,
but
beautiful.
this the song has been ruined for me because I've just heard it so many times. I could be okay. Even when it's on, I just like no. I just
that's a good choice.
Montag, I would have probably chosen in this argument. I probably chose Limelight over even Closer.
Well, see, I can still listen to Limelight.
Okay.
I love that song. They're most of Rush's songs I can hear and listen and never get old and never get tiresome for me.
Yeah, Tom Sawyer somehow holds up, you know.
Yeah, 40 years later.
I never get tired of that.
Songs.
I crank that shit up.
Yeah.
I mean, those drum fills in the middle. Everybody's gonna, it's gonna get you every time.
Yeah, everyone's gonna air drum to it, just like that. And Spirit of Radio, again, those songs never lose their interest for me so far. This is a band that
one of my top 2 favorite Rush songs of all. I love Subdivision. Love the content. I love just the way it's constructed. I love Subdivision. So
me too.
So it's again, love this band. Just I'm done with that song. And we blame you, radio.
You talk about a wide discography of 40 years of music.
Right.
Consistently releasing music. I mean, my God, you know, just throw something at a dartboard. You're going to come up with a great song to play.
Yeah. Anything off of Counterparts, anything else off of, Farewell to Kings. I mean,
I like Vapor Trails too, actually. Some of their later stuff.
They haven't had a true stinker. I mean, they've had albums that were lesser than, I think, that at the time they came out weren't good, but they've increased.
Era.
But Grace Under Pressure has really grown on me a lot. At first I thought it was kind of boring, but it's really grown on me as an album. And also Test for Echo. Again, that was an album that I never really liked, but I've listened to it more and more. There's a couple tracks that are like
Driven's real good.
Driven's excellent. Half the World, I think it was really good. Test for Echo. I still don't like Virtuosity. It's just one of the songs that sticks out as not being a good song, but very few filler tracks in this band,
Yeah, for sure.
Dare I say, I even like Presto and Roll the Bones. I mean, Roll the Bones had a thin production, but
Yeah, same thing with
there's
Presto.
There's some Bravado was on there.
Yeah, there are some good tracks. Those albums, but
Yeah.
those albums are lesser than because it reminds me we need to finish up our Rush tape.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time since we've done that. We got to work on that.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
But yeah, so I'd like to do that. So
Yeah.
we'll work on that. So
Okay.
well, I think that Kiss Gilf Diatribe is really really great. That's
a winner.
That's a winner. We're gonna
Right.
that's gonna be our what makes us. You're welcome.
Yeah.
To all of our listeners,
Stay
thank
tuned,
you for
listeners. When we
subscribing.
get over 100,000 subscribers, we'll be thanking you for that. You'll
That's
be thanking us for that whole Paul Stanley.
We'll release all of our Patreon gold then.
Yeah.
I'll get death threats though for my comments about Kiss.
Nah, I think understandable. No, it's fine. That's right. Yeah, if they ever show up one day, we can talk all about that. But I think they're afraid. I think that's what it is. They're afraid to come on. They're finishing up their final tour. That's right. We are rather intimidating.
They're going to finish up in I think December in Madison Square Garden in New York. Where
they are coming to Cleveland. I offered Dreadbull. I said you can come to see Cleveland. They're coming to Cleveland one last time. But he said he had a proctology appointment or something like that. A voluntary proctology appointment.
Yeah.
Doc, can you
second one this year?
Can you do 2 fingers this time, please? It's better than going to see Kiss. Give me the old shocker.
I'm talking to you, Dreadbull.
That's right. All right. Dread's getting a finger in the toe.
Don't do it. Don't start again. Let's wrap this up. I gotta go eat dinner.
All right. Hey, you can find Heavy Metal Horror on unsaneradio.com. Listen to full episodes or download to your device. You can find us on Facebook, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. On Instagram, look for Montag Lewis, one word. Our YouTube page, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. If you're watching, that's where you're at. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And if you know someone who would like our show, tell them about us. This has been Montag, Master of the Guild.
Chop top.
And Dreadbull with Folgers in his cup.
And you've been watching and listening to Heavy Metal Horror. All right.
This is Doug Helvering, and you have been listening to Heavy Metal Horror, the best podcast that you've never heard before.